Why are your relationships doomed to fail? Let's talk about it today. There we go. Can you decide how you're gonna sit? I need to get this thing back. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we're working right. Awesome. You're looking beautiful today, everybody. All right, welcome. So let's talk about it. Why are your relationships doomed to fail or be toxic? This actually comes from something that I have been having conversations with coaching clients regarding, because this has to do with not only just relationships but also work and lack of knowledge. And this is a particularly big issue for people in the West. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you here. This is a big issue for people in the West. If you've been on websites now like Xiaohongshu after the shutdown of TikTok, then you've probably begun to have conversations and discourse with people from other backgrounds in the East, like people in China. And I've had a lot of really interesting conversations with people who've been hanging out over in Xiaohongshu and all that stuff. But it's funny because now more Americans are well aware of just the way that Chinese people think, or people in China or other parts of the world, and how they make decisions and how their lives are really not what we consider. And prior to the whole shutdown of TikTok happening, I've seen a lot of stuff on Xiaohongshu, not Xiaohongshu, but on YouTube about like Chinese leftover women and all these other things. And there's a one of the issues that happens there is that they've been infected with a lot of Western thinking, which isn't good for solid relationships. If you've noticed, if you take like any time to look around at like America, Canada, or any of those other places that are considered Western, you start to notice that there are a lot of like issues, or people struggle to maintain healthy long-term relationships. People have no issue in the West with hooking up and finding the occasional boyfriend or girlfriend, but the thing people often struggle with is having healthy long-term relationships. You don't see many couples lasting decades. You have a whole bunch of people or a whole bunch of memes regarding people where they don't have kids for years, or people are dating and they never get married, or people end up in situationships, which is even more weird. And people just end up in these relationships of convenience rather than being with people that they truly desire to be with. And part of this has to do with lack of knowledge. Why does every person have a different face? Because you'd be bored. It'd be weird if everybody had the same face. Like if everybody had the same face, like why would you would you want to kiss yourself? Yeah, we are definitely bringing love back. So, interesting thing about love and why most relationships are usually doomed to fail. And this is a very interesting thing because we are now in, hey, what's up, Raven? We are now in the year of the snake. Year of the Snake happened. It started January 29th. So we're in the celebrations for the Lunar New Year. Happy, anybody who's tuning in from China, happy Lunar New Year. Happy Year of the Snake. Glad to have you guys here. No, I'm not Indian. Well, not Indian from India, but like I'm a huge mix. Indian happens to be one of the things. So welcome. Hi, everybody. So thank you. Thank you so much, Disco Dave. No, I'm not. But it's funny because what I'm about to say will might come across as Diddy-esque. Okay. It is currently the year of the snake. One of the things that has blessed me in having this YouTube channel is quite literally because I did not understand the principles of the Chinese Zodiac. Um, my relationship, and I love my partner. I love Stephanie. She's amazing. She's wonderful. She's awesome. What I did not know is what most people don't know, and it was the source of struggle within our relationship. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with me. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with her. It's the fact that me and her just so happen to be opposed in terms of energies. And if I had known about this in the Chinese zodiac, it would have been a completely different. What's up? Oh, you done with the dinner? All right, thank you, baby. I love you.
You're welcome, my love. Take your time, baby.
Thank you. Yes, most definitely she does. That's part of the dangerous thing that happens is yes she does have a yet, which is exactly the reason why it was one of the big things of us getting together because physically we fit together very well. You're an ox, Raven. I'm not surprised you're an ox. Okay, me and her, our issues and problems arise from the fundamental differences in our nature and our personality, which were reflected in the Chinese zodiac. She's my enemy sign. I'm a rooster, she's a rabbit, which means we are quite literally directly opposed. And I don't think enough people in the West do stuff like study the Chinese zodiac when making decisions on the type of person that they're going to be around or the type of person that they're going to have a long-term relationship with. And it's not like it's a bad thing, to be honest. It's not like so you're a dog. You are valid as a dog. As a dog, your enemy sign is actually the dragon. So if you're a dog, you probably had a pretty shitty year last year. Something probably happened that was absolutely awful and terrible last year. Just for reference, when it comes to the Chinese zodiac and enemy signs, the energies are directly opposed to each other. So there's a lot of friction and there's a high potential of things going wrong. So in states or places that were established in dog years, there were problems. Guess what state just so happened to be established in a dog year? Last year was a dragon year. So dog year, during the dragon year had an awful time. You guys remember the fires? Natural disasters tend to happen, like very terrible natural disasters tend to happen in states during the enemy year of that state. And again, dragon year, awful stuff happened over in California. And it's not like it has to happen, it's just the energies make it more likely to happen. And when we talk about Chinese zodiacs with reference to relationships, oh, what's up, Benjamin? Hey, I'm glad to have you here, man. The second causes, you got it. Don't worry. Hey, you got it. I'll make a video for you later. Drop a question, Benjamin, and I'll make a video about it later on, man. Um, so why does this stuff matter? Why does the Chinese zodiac matter? When people are in the process of making their selections of long-term mates, we usually use things that are very obvious. We'll use do I actually like the way that this person looks? Sadly enough, in a long-term relationship, this is not good enough because people will change. The way that they look changes. Your partner, if your relationship goes well, their weight will fluctuate. They will go up in weight, they'll go down in weight. They will get older. So the way that they look now is not going to be the same. So ultimately, for long-term relationships, there needs to be a different criteria that people use to evaluate whether or not you should be with somebody long-term. Um, and it's funny because we use terms like this and we use this to figure out whether or not we want to be with somebody. We just don't use like really deep personality profiles to make these decisions. Like, if somebody uses different labels, and I love how guys are like, "Oh, I don't like the zodiac and all that stuff." Well, study it and see what's going on, because when you understand people's zodiac signs, it's kind of like having a label slapped on them, and you know what you're going to get. Um, because if somebody comes to you and says, "I'm vegan," there's going to be a certain lifestyle and certain decisions that this person's making, a certain way of acting that will be in alignment with certain people and out of alignment with other people. Some people may like, "Oh my God, you're vegan and everything you eat has to be gluten free. I can't be around you. I love pasta. We can't make this work. You wouldn't be a good long term match. I might enjoy being around you, but it's not going to gel long term because of like my lifestyle and how I live." Now, if a dude comes up to a chick and he's like, I do the carnivore diet. That's my label, carnivore diet guy. That woman already knows off the bat. This dude's gonna be listening to Joe Rogan, Andrew Huberman, Jordan Peterson. The meals that they're gonna produce are probably gonna be very simple, but it's gonna be very easy to cook. But on top of that, it's also gonna be very boring and bland, and they can't really go out and eat too much unless they're just getting like steak all the time. But when somebody uses a label like that, you know what to expect on a day to day basis in that relationship. The same happens to be the case if we start talking about things like the Chinese zodiac. When you start studying the Chinese zodiac, what you'll notice is that there are certain signs, which are just like labels, which indicate how a person is. And it makes sense when you start thinking of a year as like a work of art. When somebody is born into a certain year, we already know and understand like our environment really does shape who we are as a person. Um, and it changes the way that we think, the world around us, how people interact during that time. It's going to affect us personally. What's up? What's up, Cash Beats? Um, so if you think about it, it does make a lot of sense. Like kids born prior to 9/11, 2001 are very different than kids born after that time. Kids born in the middle of the pandemic, 2019, 2020, are very different than kids born prior to that because the world that they were born into was completely different. Think about prior to 2001, like think of an entire year. Think of all the news, what's going on in the news during that year. Think about all of the movies that come out during that year and how that affects how people feel and how they act and interact. Think about the political environment, what's going on in politics around that time. Of course America isn't the world. I'm just using America as an example because most of the people here are like American. But if we think about the entirety of the year, think about all of the things that are built up that a person consumes. As a child, when you first come in, you're just like an open book. So you're just absorbing everything that's going on around you. So if that happens to be the case, during an entire year, if you're absorbing all of that energy and all of the art and all the things that are going on around you and all of the social norms that are happening at that particular time, you're going to be a very different person than somebody born into a different time. So after 2001, kids born in America, very different. The world in general was very different after that point. After the pandemic, the world was a very different place. During those years, it was very stressful, very tense. So the people during those times are going to act very differently. So just consider that when we talk about Chinese zodiacs. And with the Chinese zodiac, it just so happens to be an archetypal pattern which a lot of people reflect. So if you take the time, go and search up and figure out what your Chinese zodiac is. And what you'll find is that, and this is really interesting, the people who are your ideal, compatible, long term partners are usually not very close to you in age. And this is part of the reason why most Western relationships are doomed to fail. Because most people make a lot of their relationship decisions based on number one, people around them in their social circles. And their social circles are usually built up of people in school when you're in high school, and people in college, and then of course when you go off to work. But school, high school and college happen to be the places that a lot of people end up coupling up and building their relationships. If you actually look at the Chinese zodiac, you'll notice that within the first three on either end, those are not compatible years for you in the Chinese zodiac for long-term partners. So if you end up in a relationship with somebody who is in the same high school as you, 9 times out of 10, you may be okay for a short-term relationship, but if we're talking long-term, those are really not the ideal relationships. And the funny thing is, the ones that are the ideal relationships are considered socially unacceptable. Because if you pay attention to the Chinese zodiac, I can actually bring up one of the Chinese zodiac painting photos. If you bring up the Chinese zodiac, do. Copy image and open image in the tab. If you bring up the Chinese Zodiac, actually, let me swap around the camera. If you bring around the Chinese Zodiac here, if you are, let's say, a dog, roosters are incompatible with you, monkeys are incompatible with you, goats are incompatible with you. So if you're a freshman in high school, then yeah. If you're a freshman in high school, sophomores are incompatible with you. The juniors are incompatible with you, and the seniors are incompatible with you. But the people who just so happen to be compatible with you would be a horse. Horses are compatible with dogs. Well, and they're really good mates. Which means that, let's say if you're if we go the other way around too, if we go to the fourth, tiger. So for dogs, horses and tigers are good matches for dogs. Horse, if I'm not mistaken, it is horse, snake, rabbit, and tiger. Those are good matches for dogs. So if a dog is, let's say, a senior in high school, his long-term match would actually be in the 8th grade. Or somebody who just went to college. So, when people make fun of those relationships where it's like, when people make fun of those relationships where they have somebody who's yeah, I'm the dog. Will my girl be beautiful because horses look ugly? So horses don't necessarily look ugly. It's just like an energy thing. They don't look like horses. People don't necessarily look physically like their Chinese zodiac. The characteristics and the way and their manner of being will be like the animal. So it's not like you look like it, you act like the thing. And acting in the way that people feel and how they talk and how they communicate is ultimately what dictates like really good long-term relationships. I think we're because we're the same age. That'd be weird as hell. um, but that's just one example. So if you're looking for an ideal match, an ideal mate, your people are actually going to be in an age gap from you. And for me and my partner, we're at an age gap. We just so happen to be enemy signs. Now, mind you, when I say this, with enemy signs or incompatible Chinese zodiac matches, this doesn't you don't and that's the thing. You don't have to be a pedo. You just you may end up having to date somebody if you're looking for a long term. And this is not for dating right now, just for like boyfriend girlfriend kind of thing, or like a relationship for you to have short term. I'm talking long term, super compatible relationship. You guys are going to be together for decades, like ideal marriage. Oh my gosh, we love each other. Everything works so simple for like literally until you guys are like old and decrepit, falling apart, and then die at the same time. That's what we're talking about. If you want that, you're going to have the age gap. The age gap is going to be something that's normal, which means that you're going to either be with somebody who's older than you, significantly older than you, or younger than you. And if you just so happen to be a dude who's around like late 20s, early 30s, you're gonna be in like, if you go the younger age route, it's gonna be a little bit weird until you see the person becoming like college age or something like that. Because and this is part of if I'm not mistaken, I believe that this is part of the reason why you have a lot of people like streamers who are like talking to younger people, and it's because they're not aware of the fact that the energies that they're most compatible with just so happen to be people around those age ranges. And if people know that, then it's like, okay, understand that that's the case, but don't go and do it. Don't go talk to them. Don't do that, because socially we don't do that here. We don't do that. We don't do that kind of stuff. And if people were aware of that, then it would make more sense, and I think less famous people would be in trouble for those kinds of things because they would be aware of the fact that they're trying to find those partners, and they would know what age ranges to look into that are socially acceptable, instead of ending up in situations where they end up with like the wrong kind of person. I don't think that people should do that. But either way, back to incompatible relationships. And this is part of the reason why, again, like I mentioned, most relationships are doomed to fail or be toxic. And the problem ultimately is that if you are unaware of the energies or how the two personalities you and your partner have, how they work together, you may end up in a situation where it's problematic and you don't know why. And it's like signing up for it's like artists who sign 360 deals or these contracts where they don't read the fine print and they don't know what kind of contract that they're getting into. There's no problem with you getting into a relationship with somebody who just so happens to be a little bit less compatible. Again, like I mentioned, me and my partner, we are literally enemy signs. But the reason why we're able to make our relationship work is quite literally because I am aware of the terms of our contract. I know what areas we clash in our relationship. I'm a rooster, she's a rabbit. She is somebody who requires she's somebody who requires more understanding. She's very sensitive. She's very emotional. Me as a rooster, I'm a perfectionist. So there are a lot of things that I do and I talk about, and I like nitpick things because I want things to be better. I want them to improve. I'm very loud and boisterous. I have a lot of personality, I have a lot of passion, and I speak with a lot of passion. For her, if I speak with too much passion, that can scare her. Like with rabbits, if you're too loud around rabbits, rabbits can just straight up die. So when it comes to like people who were born in the rabbit year, their energies and their sensibilities are similar. They want to be in quiet, peaceful spaces. They require a lot of affection, attention, and understanding. So when it comes to our relationship, because I have read and because I'm aware of where I need to pull back and where I need to give her more love and more understanding and more space, we're able to make our relationship work because I know the nature of the contract. I know the nature of the relationship. And when we didn't know that, we constantly butted heads. We had issues, we had problems because we both wanted things that were in opposition to each other, which caused all the friction and problems in our relationship. And ultimately, it caused us to break up several times. But once I was able to learn, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do less of, this is what she needs to do, we're both aware of our natures and how we are, and I can be a better partner for her by making sure that I change bits of my nature so that she's more comfortable and we have a loving, caring relationship because of it. Because, like, for instance, as a rabbit, she needs time alone. She needs time to be lazy, to lay around and just to relax, which I know that. I'm like, great, awesome. Let me do that today. Let me go take our daughter out. We'll take her to the park and then give her time alone so she could just rest and relax and not and just goof off and do whatever she wants. Because I do that, she loved it. She's like, I'm able to relax. I'm able to like let my hair down, feel my brain expand in my skull. I feel like my brain expand out, which is important. Again, so that's an interesting question. Are dog zodiacs good with women? It depends on what you mean. Dogs are people who are typically very loyal, just like the animal, very affectionate, very caring, and that's part of the reason why dogs and rabbits are very good matches. The reason why people certain zodiacs are matches is just because their personalities tend to complement each other, and when they're around each other, it just works really well. Like it feels natural. The way that people will typically voice when it's an energetic match is people will say like, oh, it feels so easy, I feel so comfortable around you, I feel like I can be myself, I feel celebrated for who I am. All of these statements are reflections of the fact that more than likely the two people who are in that relationship just so happen to have complementary energies, and you would know that if you checked out Chinese zodiac or any of the other zodiac signs to understand like how they fit together. Yeah. So in terms of long-term relationships, if you end up with somebody or you end up interested in somebody who happens to be incompatible, it's not that you can't make a relationship work. That's not the case. It's just that by reading about these things and reading about the areas that the two of you tend to clash, that in the areas that you two work really well, this lets you know what to expect in the relationship and what areas you may need to pay close attention to make sure your partner's comfortable, and what areas your partner needs to pay attention to make sure that it's comfortable, so that you guys have a wonderful, loving, and caring relationship that can work long term. If you are unaware of it, then you don't know what kind of contract that you're in. You'll step on each other's toes, and there'll be resentment and anger between the two of you until you guys end up splitting or divorce happens, which is part of the reason, I'm pretty sure, why most divorces happen in the West, because people are just pairing up and not making smart, conscious decisions about the people that they're coupling with, or they are unaware of the nature of the contract that they're signing up for by saying, I want to be with this person. So before you say yes and I do, or I want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, don't just focus on the Western zodiac and like, oh, are you a Pisces? I'm a Capricorn. No, go a little bit deeper and find out, number one, the person's entire chart for Western astrology, because that does give you a lot of information, and then find out if you're compatible in terms of Chinese astrology. And by doing that, you know the nature of the relationship that you're going to have, you know what areas you guys work really well together, and then you can make a fully informed decision. I don't think anybody should make a decision like, oh, we're enemy signs, we shouldn't be together. No. Because if I would have said that, we wouldn't have our daughter. I love my daughter. My daughter's amazing. My daughter's wonderful. If I didn't have my relationship with her, I wouldn't have had this channel, because part of the channel came from the friction and the conflict that we had in our relationship and me trying to fix that. If I didn't have that, there's so many things in my life that wouldn't have turned out amazingly. So it's not that it's a bad thing, it's that you need to know fully what you're getting into, so that when you sign up and end up in the relationship, you know what to expect. 31 actually. I just turned 31 in January. My girlfriend broke up with me exactly a month and 3 days ago. I screwed up and I want to get her back. I know I can be a better man. I've been watching your videos. Oh, thanks. Awesome. But everyone around me is telling me to move on. Well, it depends. Ask yourself the question, why do you want to get back together with her? Answer that question. Aaron, answer that in the comments. And this isn't a problem. I am perfectly fine with people manifesting back relationships that they've realized that this is somebody that I want to be with long term. Very key thing I say there, because I I help people with manifestation, and the principles and stuff I talk about in videos and in one-to-one sessions, they work. So you will get what you put out, but people can also end up bringing up and getting things that they truly don't want. Like there have been times where I remember like I did really good unconscious manifestation even in high school. I was always really good at building and bringing in relationships. I had this one girl who was a friend of mine who I wanted to date for years since middle school. And I thought I wanted her. And I thought about her. I was like, I want to be in a relationship with her. I'm like, yeah, her. It has to be 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 her. We met, I think, in the 8th grade, and I ended up dating another one of her friends, and that was an amazing, wonderful relationship that wouldn't have happened if she didn't come into my life. So I'm super happy about that going on. Then I think I think it was maybe my sophomore year or my junior year of high school, after she had been in a super long relationship and they finally broke up because they were on and off. She finally broke up with the dude for a long enough period of time, and then we ended up dating my junior year. When we dated my junior year, it was wonderful, it was amazing, but then I realized this is not what I want long term. I thought I wanted her, but there's just certain things about us that just don't fit, don't gel. And I I spent so many years, I spent so much time. I'm like, her. It has to be her. And when she was finally there, when she was finally mine, I was like, yeah, no, this isn't quite it. And that doesn't mean that there was anything wrong with her. There isn't anything wrong with her. She's wonderful. She's been amazing. I still talk to her occasionally, like every so often. She's wonderful. She's lovely. It's just that, and now, especially since we're older, I know that we were just incompatible, even with our dreams. Like I ask a lot of my clients this question: is like, what do you truly want? Like, if you could have anything in the world, if you won the lottery 5 times over and you knew you couldn't fail, what would your dream life look like? What would you want to have, be, and do? What would you want to have in your life? What kind of home would be your ideal type of home? What kind of car would you want to drive? What kind of family do you want? Do you even want to have a family around you? Do you want to be single most of your life? Do you want to travel? Um, do you want to be? What do you want to be? Do you want to be a mother? Do you want to be a mother and go to church with your kids and be a rancher? Or do you want to be a writer? What is it that you desire? What do you want to what do you want to do? What kind of stuff do you want to do? Do you want to be a homemaker and like cook delicious food for your family, or do you want to have a career as an actress, or maybe be an activist who's speaking up on stages and traveling around the world, changing people's lives? What is it that you truly desire? I ask people those questions, and when I asked her those questions, she really just wants a super quiet life with a small little house, white picket fence, and a little dog, and that's it. She doesn't want to have a lot of friends, a lot of people over, none of that stuff. And that's not what I wanted for my life. And if we would have been together long term, I thought from that young age that that would have been a good relationship, but long term, that would have been hell for us because her dream was my nightmare. I don't want to live a boring little life like that. I do like the idea of having lots of land and multiple properties and growing food and having a large family and having lots of people over and having parties and singing and dancing and enjoying ourselves and having potlucks and going out on speaking engagements, but also spending time alone at home and going out to really nice places to eat really good food. I love traveling. Traveling is always fun. I love spending a lot of time on the road or going to different places. I love spending my time in Brazil. I'm going to end up getting a house down in Brazil because I have a cousin who lives down there, and we have about 4 properties in the family down there. We want to have more properties and expand in that little city that we live. All of these things are my desires. If I would get what I want and she was my partner, she would be miserable. And if she would have gotten what she wanted, I would have been miserable. And that doesn't mean that there's a problem with either of us. It just means that we were incompatible. So, by understanding that, if I truly did care about her and I truly thought that being with her was more important than my dreams, then I would have compromised. But that wasn't a relationship that I was willing to make that compromise on. That was a contract that I wasn't willing to sign. So that's the reason why we broke up and we've been friends. And that's been the nature of our relationship for years. And that's okay. My thing has been helping her figure out who's the perfect mate for her. What does she truly want in terms of a mate? And she deserves to get exactly what she wants because there is somebody out there that will fit her perfectly. Just like there is somebody out there that'll fit you perfectly. No matter what your dreams, no matter what your desires are, no matter the type of relationship that you want, whether you want to go 50-50 and have a woman who's independent or have a man who's independent, who takes care of everything for you, and you can stay home, or you want to be somebody who's a radical political person, and you're going out there and you're protesting and all that stuff. It doesn't matter what you desire and what you want. There is somebody out there who is like the best kind of partner and the best kind of uh, match for you. You just have to be flexible in understanding that the person that you may desire right now may not be that match, and it's okay. And take some time to analyze whether or not that's the case. Is this person a really good match for me or not? And most of the time, it's funny because when I do these analysis with clients to figure out, like, hey, is your SP actually a good match for you long term? So most of the time, the answer is no. And that's the reason why the relationship fell apart in the first place. But there are elements in that relationship that they really did like and they really did enjoy. And the reason why they want that person back is because they don't believe that the person that they truly want exists, or they don't believe that they're good enough or worthy for their ideal kind of relationship. And then our work is to peel back the layers to figure out, okay, why the hell do you not believe that that's possible? What's going on? What are the things that you've dealt with that got you to believe that? And let's move all that stuff out of the way so that you can feel comfortable and confident and attract that ideal relationship. How do you make yourself the most attractive to that type of person you want to be with? By becoming the type of person that that other SP wants to be with. Now, let me read Aaron's comment. I want her because I see her as somebody I want to marry. In my experience and experience my life with her to the fullest, she's the best person ever, and I didn't appreciate it while I had her. Her absence made me realize it. That's good. Okay, so then let me ask you this question, Aaron, and this the quality of our life is dictated by the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. So ask the question, okay, so you want to experience your life with her. Well, what were the things that were, not great in the relationship? What are the things that you realized by being with her that you desired that you didn't know prior to being with her? Because sometimes we attract people and we attract relationships to us so that we can clarify what it is that we actually desire in the relationships that we want. Because sometimes somebody is supposed to come into our life and we realize, oh, I really like this area, but they messed up on all these things. And I didn't know that I wanted these things in my relationship until I met you. Thank you so much for letting me know that this is something that I want. So, Bob, uh, yeah, ask yourself why you want the relationship back. So, Bob, me and my ex broke up a long time ago and we had a very bad fight. We're in no contact. How can we love each other again? Well, number one is it doesn't matter, and I tell this to everybody, it doesn't matter what happened in your relationship. It doesn't matter what was said, how bad the fight was. It doesn't matter if you two don't talk to each other and haven't talked to each other in years. None of that matters. What matters is, what is it that you desire? What is it that you want? And how do we get you into the state where you already feel like you have it? That's it. So let's clarify what it is that you desire and what it is that you want. Because a lot of people say that they want the relationship back with the person, but they don't know, and they haven't projected and created a plan or a dream of what they want that dream relationship to be like with that person. So you have to get very clear is, what is it that I actually want? Because if you want to love each other, part of loving each other is creating a shared dream together. So, do you want to have kids together? Do you want to move to another state? Do you want to work on your business so that you can take care of them and have a loving, wonderful relationship and allow them to pursue their art that they love? What is it that you want? What is it? And this is what works really well with people who want to bring back relationships. What does that person desire? Like, what are their dreams? Like, what are their wildest dreams that they want? And I've been talking about this with like my female clients to get them to understand, like, because they a lot of them are fearful of like other women, like third parties coming in and taking away their ideal person. And when I teach them this principle, the fear of that completely goes away. It just disappears like that. And it's just asking the question, what does your man want? Like, what's his big dream? What is his big desire? And if you learn manifestation and you learn these processes, your goal is to speak life into your man's, well, number one is to find out what your man's dreams are, and then speak life into his dreams like they're already a reality. Like you already know that he can do this and he has done this, and it's amazing. And this is why you'll have this is really funny. If you look at really successful men who have women that they were with from before they were famous, you'll typically hear those men say, like, I couldn't have done it without my wife. I couldn't have done it without her. I couldn't have done it without her. That's why you have people like Denzel Washington with women, and you're like, you're Denzel Washington. You could have whatever any woman you want, any person that you want. Oh my gosh, you're gorgeous. You're this wonderful, amazing actor, super successful, or super successful businessman. Why would you be with this person? It's because that person made them the super successful person. It's because that man shared his dream with that woman and she said, you're already this person in my eyes. And she spoke that reality to him. The man said he wanted to be a successful actor. She's like, "You're already a successful actor. You're so amazing. You're wonderful. Oh, you want to you want to win the Super Bowl? You're one of the best players out there. You're one of the best players in the NFL. No, you outrun everybody. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are so strong." She speaks the words of affirmation to him that are in alignment with his dream. So by being around her, he's closer to embodying the dream reality that he wants to be in, the dream person he is becoming. And the reason why he stays with that woman and stays with that person is because she literally built him. She listened long enough to hear what his dreams were and then spoke his dreams, which made her his dream girl. So if you want to be like the best possible partner, become your partner's dream girl and speak his dreams into reality. Because the moment you do that, no other woman compares, because there are always going to be younger women, beautiful women who maybe look different. You might be blonde, there are always going to be redheads and brunettes. You could be a redhead, there are always going to be blondes, brunettes, and girls with jet black hair, a straight hair, or wildly curly hair. There are always going to be something different. But the one thing that is very rare and very tough to find is somebody who could look at you and speak your dreams into reality as if they're already there. And if you could do that as a partner, there will literally be no other person, no other man, woman could ever come close to matching you. And if you understand how to do that, you will never have to worry about a partner leaving you ever again. What's up, Marcius? What's up? Long time no see. Just wondering how you doing, man. Ooh, yeah. So that's a big one. That's a real big one. That's a good one. That's a good one, guys. Please be sure to use that because it'll make you irresistible. No other girl will compare. You will look at other women and be like, okay, you look good. Do you know how to do? Because that's a skill. That's a skill to be able to look past the current circumstances, the current 3D, the current world, and to get them to come into, to speak words of affirmation of the reality before it's evident to everybody else. The way that you get out of no contact is imagining that you guys are in contact with each other. The way that you think, the way that you imagine ends up creating the world around you. So if you want to be in contact with somebody, my thing with people is like, don't dream small. Why would you just want to text somebody? Like that always bothered me. People are like, I'm no contact. How do I get how do I get back in contact? My big thing to go back to you is like, why are you dreaming so small? Why do you just want to be in contact again? Why not have them in your bed? Why not spend time together? Why not go why not eat hot chip together? Why not lie together in bed? Why not do something bigger? Why not go on a huge trip together to like Cabo or something like that? Why not dream something exciting? People talk about no contact and go from contact to no contact. Make a bigger leap to something exciting. If you want somebody to come back into your life, make them coming back into your life exciting. If you want to accelerate how fast somebody comes back into your life, dream about something exciting that you guys can do together. Like, oh, I would love for us to go do karaoke together. Let's go pretend to be different people and like have different names and then go to karaoke together. And let's pretend like we don't know each other and then pick each other up at the karaoke bar. Why don't we go on a cool trip down to a Native American reservation and then do a steam sweat lodge and then do an ayahuasca experience or something like that? Why don't we go and make a movie together? Not like that. Why don't we start making a movie, like a short film? That would be fun. Let's make a short film together. why don't we throw a party and invite people over and like enjoy ourselves and maybe do like a white elephant gift thing, or let's make your dream more exciting. If you want to go from contact to no contact, dream big and then implant that person in the dream. It doesn't matter if it seems impossible. I've been blocked many different times. It doesn't matter if you're blocked, not talking to the person. If your dream is big and exciting enough, the person comes back. Like, have you ever not talked to somebody for a really long time and then just randomly thought about them and then reached out to them? Or just felt like an irresistible urge to go do something with somebody, or you end up blocking somebody or not talking to them and then see that they're doing something really amazing and wonderful in their life, and then you reach out to them because they're doing something really cool. Think like that. Like, make your life interesting. Make your life interesting so they get FOMO about not being around you. They're like, oh my gosh, if I'm not around this person, then I'm going to miss out on all these cool parties. I'm going to miss out on all this traveling. Who wants to go back to somebody who's just chilling out, laying in bed, eating Cheetos? Who wants to go back and be with the girl who's just scrolling on TikTok at home in bed, giggling? Come on, make your life more interesting. Go out and have fun. Go out and enjoy yourself. And then, in terms of visualization, if you understand what the person that you want to be with likes, imagine a reality or imagine a scene that implies that you're not only together, but you're doing something interesting together. And it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't seem to interest you or seems as though they've moved on. If your dream reality is more exciting than the reality that they're in, they will come back. Period. Point blank, period. One of the first times that I had to manifest Stephanie back, part of the reason why I was able to manifest her back was because my life was so freaking interesting. We broke up and I drove away with like my cars and all that stuff. And I went to go, I was trading. I made a whole bunch of money trading options. And then I went to go live down in Brazil. And I was going out to eat at all these super nice places. And I lived down in Brazil for so long that my friends back in the States were like, did you move there? And people who lived in the city that I was in were like, did you move here? Which lets you know when you're living somewhere and you're traveling for a really long time is when people start asking you, did you move here? Which is really funny. But I was having lots of fun. I'm taking these Instagram stories and I'm just enjoying myself and enjoying life. So when I wanted to bring her back into my life, it wasn't, oh, hey, come, just hang out with me. Let's Netflix and chill. It was like, hey, I'm down in Brazil. Do you want to come like visit? I'll fly you down. Which is far more exciting. And at the time, she had been dating somebody else. We broken up. She had started dating somebody else. So in her mind, she thought she'd moved on. But I was like, hey, the reality of what I was living was far more exciting. So of course she would want to come back and be in that reality and share that with me because it was exciting and fun. And then we had a ball. We had a blast. We enjoyed super yummy foods. She really liked the gelato. There was a gelato place in the town's like main little downtown area. There was a little gelato spot, and they had a creme brulee with like shards of caramelized sugar, like these caramelized sugar shards throughout the creme brulee. Gelato was so good. That gelato was so freaking good. I can't wait to go back and eat that stuff. It's so freaking good. But yeah, remember when you say he's not interested in me, it just, you're not being interesting. Make yourself and make your life more interesting. This is why it's good to go out and work out and to make yourself look good. It's good to start getting hobbies and doing other things. Start singing. Start spending time with other people. Get hobbies. Start painting or doing other stuff. You make your life more interesting. And if you know your ideal person and you know the lifestyle that they want, the more you embody your ideal lifestyle, the easier it is for that person to want to be with you. If you want to sing and go and be in like drum circles and be a spiritual hippie kind of girl, and you want a person who likes that, and you know your SP likes that, start going to that kind of stuff. Not because you want your person back, but because by embodying that lifestyle and doing that stuff, going back to be with you means that they're going to experience more of the like exciting parts of the life that they want, their ideal dream life. It doesn't matter if he isn't seeing, which is the important thing. Our feelings and our thoughts emanate further outside of us. And if we want to get real specific and real honest, it doesn't matter if your ideal person, and this is something that people don't understand. It doesn't matter if they blocked you. You have mutual friends most of the time. You have mutual friends, or they have friends who will look and watch your stuff. And if you're doing more interesting stuff in your life, their friends will report back to that person, even if they blocked you. You have no idea how many times I've had conversations with people who are like, oh, I'm blocked, or we're no contact. And literally, that person's friend will be like, oh, can you believe what this person did? I saw their story. I saw them do this. I saw them out here. So they will, if you're living an interesting life and you're doing cool stuff, other people around your SP will report to them and tell them what's going on. I don't understand why people don't know that. Like, social media is social. It's open. It's public. So people are going to find out. And word spreads. If you're having a good time and you're enjoying yourself and you're around other people and you looking good and you looking like you having fun, word will spread. They will hear about it. I guarantee you. I feel like, what was that? It was like Men's Warehouse where the guy was like, "You'll look good, I guarantee it." It's like that. And then, of course, on top of that, you also have the person who literally unblocks people and then might stalk you for a little bit. There's so many different things that could come into play, or you could literally bump into each other in public. Can't block me in person. Not a thing. And if we just so happen to be in the same place and bump into each other, if I'm having fun, then it's like, oh, how have you been? You look good. You look real good. So yeah, stop looking for excuses to have an uninteresting life and to not be attractive. Go out, be attractive, have fun, enjoy yourself, feel good feelings. The more good you feel, the more attractive you are, and the more people want to be around you. Be the person that other people want to be around. There we go. Ego Montoya. While manifesting my SP, I started making random lifestyle changes almost mindlessly. That's what happens. Because what we're manifesting, when we're manifesting a specific person, is not some other person. What you're manifesting is a different version of you. So when somebody, and this is why I'm like, it doesn't matter what they say about you. It doesn't matter where they say, oh, I'll never get back together with you. I never want to be with you again. Sure, fine. Guess what? That person's gone. If you have a completely different lifestyle change, you're a different person. So what they said is true. They're not going to be with you, that version of you. They want to be with a new version of you. That's the whole reason why they want to be together with you, is because you're a new version, you're a new person. So go out and be a new person. There we go, yay. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. But I'm sad most of the times. How to not be sad. If you're sad most of the time, that's the reason why the person is no contact. Why? Who wants to be around a sad person? Do sad people look attractive? Does it make you tingle? Do you get butterflies in your stomach looking at somebody cry? Or somebody depressed? No, people are like, ugh, oh, you're sad. Ugh, okay, ugh. That's unattractive. So if you're sad, got to do some work and change it. And one of the things, there are a couple of things that you can do to help with the sadness. My recommendations for most people is to learn about the practices of Ho'oponopono, meditation, just breathing meditations, and thought field therapy, tapping, TFT, the Callahan technique specifically. If you practice tapping, you can let go of any of the negative emotions that you have. Tapping is probably one of the most effective things to just let go of emotions. I've had people who've come to me who've literally been like not just sad, but like having full blown panic attacks, bawling, crying, and they use the tapping techniques, and they immediately they're like overnight completely different, feel completely different. Let all that stuff go. So tapping is probably one of the most effective things that I know to help with letting go of the sadness and letting go of the energy. Um, uh, Ho'oponopono is another really good one. It's a little bit more subtle and does take a little bit more time because thought field therapy does interact directly with the energy centers and the physical body. So the physical visceral change is very like rapid and quick. So tapping, I really do like suggest tapping. Um, yeah, and you don't want to fall into the longing mindset because there's a difference. There's two ways to feel when somebody's not around, that are similar but different. There's longing, and then there's expectation, excited expectation, and suspense and anticipation. Longing and anticipation are two very different things because anticipation and expectation are positive. Longing is usually negative. If you long for somebody, you're like, oh, I can't. Oh man, my heart. Oh, to feel you against me. Oh, I'm so alone with you not here by my side. The bed is so cold. Oh, I miss the feeling of you. Nah, that's not attractive. Again, the vibration or the feeling, the emotion attached to it. Nobody wants to be around that. Nobody wants to touch that. Nobody wants to hear that. Anticipation, though, in both situations, the person's not there, but anticipation, it's, girl. Oh, when you get here, girl, ooh, gonna grab you, I'm gonna pick you up, ooh, I'm gonna hold you real close, I'm gonna hold that face, I'm gonna give you a good hard smooch, just, mwah, oh my god, and the way that you smell, oh my gosh, the way that you smell when I dig my nose into your neck and get a whiff of you, oh my gosh, oh, I know, and like your when I smell your scent on my jacket after you borrowed my jacket, I can smell the scent of you, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you're almost here. Oh, and I can't wait to feel you next to me again. Oh, I'm waiting for it. I'm salivating. Ah, I'm waiting for it. Oh, I know you're coming on Friday. Oh man, it's gonna be so exciting. That's a very different state to be in than longing. Oh, can I have a crumb of a kiss? Could I have a kiss crumb? Oh, I'm so... One's like a beggar. Do you want to be a relationship beggar where you're like, could I have a crumb of affection? Please, attention, sir. Give me attention. No, don't be like that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be around that. So don't go for the longing angle. It's okay to miss somebody, but to miss them, it can be a positive thing. If you are building up anticipation and building up that energy, that's exciting. Like, how is it? Think about that for a moment. Is it exciting to hear somebody, oh, I long for, or to hear somebody talk to you about, like, I want you, I desire you, I think about the feeling of your lips, I can't wait to kiss you again, I can't wait to feel those lips, I'm thinking about those lips, that's the only thing that's on my mind, I've been thinking about you all day. Ooh, when I get you, when I get next to you, ooh, 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 I'm gonna smooch you, I'm gonna smooch you so much, I'm gonna smooch you up, I'm gonna hug you until you crumble in my arms like a sandcastle. I'm gonna hold you and not let you go. Which one do you want to hear somebody talk about? Do you want to hear somebody talk? Oh, you're so far. Or like, I'm really excited and I'm thinking about you. So if you find purpose in your interests and other stuff, and you're building anticipation of when you're going to see this person again, because anticipation is a very important part of a relationship. Anticipation, suspense, desire, being able to desire the person that you want and express that, that's a fundamental thing that you need in a relationship, whether you're with the person or not. Because even if you're with a person, you should be making your person feel like you're desiring them when you're not around each other. You should. You should be like, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you. You're not here, and I want you. I can't wait to hold you and hug you again because you want your person to feel special. So if you're able to practice this before getting back into the relationship, it's a great way for you to attract, to be it, not to attract, but to be attractive to your ideal person. So keep yourself in a good mood. Stay excited and anticipate the person that you want. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. I'm probably going to hop on and do another video later on next week. I just wanted to do something, so you guys got this. So give this a thumbs up if it was helpful. And I can't wait to see all you lovely people later. I'm going to end up shooting a couple more videos. So I got some other really good stuff. I need to do a more formalized version of the Chinese Zodiac talk in this one. I wasn't expecting to talk about the relationship desire stuff, but you guys pull out the best of me, so I appreciate it. Love you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll talk to you beautiful people later. Bye, everybody.